The Civil Rights Act of 1964 caused an influx of court cases related to the desegregation of housing, voting, and education. The case of Griggs v. Duke Power Company was centered on employment desegregation. Because there were many other court cases that took precedent, employment desegregation was placed on the back burner until Griggs was reviewed and Title VII of the Civil Rights Act was inspected more closely. Title VII of the Civil Rights Act prohibited any form of employment discrimination. The Griggs v. Duke case addressed the unfair recruiting, hiring, promotion, transfer, and performance measurements used at Duke Power Company. Prior to the passage of the Civil Rights Act, Duke Power overtly discriminated, assigning African American workers only to its labor department, where they performed janitorial work and shoveled coal. The working conditions were not good at all. Willie Griggs and 12 other African American employees sued Duke Power Company's Dan River Steam Station, a power generating facility located in Draper, North Carolina. These employees sued the company for acquiring a high school diploma or passing grade on standardized tests in order to be promoted or transferred into a different department. Because of segregation in the schools, many African Americans did not receive quality education, and therefore were less likely to receive a high school diploma or passing grade on the standardized tests. At that time in North Carolina, a 1960 census showed that while 34% of white males had completed high school, only 12% of African American males had done so. In addition, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission found that 58% of whites passed the standardized tests used at this company, while only 6% of the African Americans passed. It was apparent that Duke Power's requirements for promotion were preventing African Americans from succeeding in the company. Because of these requirements, the majority of African American workers were kept in the lowest tiered department, the labor department, while whites were more likely to have higher positions in the other 4 departments. Willie Griggs and 12 other African American employees signed a petition and brought it to litigator Julius LaVon Chambers. On October 20, 1966, Chambers filed this petition to the district court. In 1968, Judge Gordon ruled that Duke Power's requirements were not discriminatory. Gordon based this decision off of Section 703H of the Civil Rights Act. This section stated that any professionally developed ability test that is not designed, intended, or used to discriminate because of race is allowed. The district court did not find discriminatory intent in Duke Power's employees' practices, and decided that Duke Power was not guilty for implementing these practices. Obviously, there were many flaws to the final decision in the district court. The case was then handed over to the Supreme Court on December 14, 1970. Justice Warren Burger stated that under the Civil Rights Act, even if the practices were not enforced with discriminatory intent, they are still considered unlawful if they negatively impact a certain group of individuals, such as the African Americans in this case. Justice Burger also came to the conclusion that these testing requirements were not predictors of future job performance, and therefore they were considered unnecessary. Justice Burger clarified that the purpose of Title VII of the Civil Rights Act is to protect employees from the enforcement of arbitrary requirements that prohibit employees from having an equal employment opportunity. After reviewing the evidence again and taking into account disparate impact, Justice Burger ruled Duke Power's employment practices illegal on March 8, 1971. Not only was justice served, but this decision set the stage for the enforcement of affirmative action. The debate of Griggs v. Duke Power Company had a major impact on future employment practices nationwide. Griggs v. Duke Power further revealed the purpose of Title VII of the Civil Rights Act, which is to protect individuals from discriminatory employment practices and to promote equality in the workplace. It was also the first court case to address affirmative action, which is the practice of improving educational and job opportunities for minorities. This debate further defined the concept of disparate impact, that practices in employment, housing, or other areas may be considered discriminatory and illegal if they have a disproportionate adverse impact on persons along the lines of a particular trait. Through this case, it was made clear that even if employees claim they did not have discriminatory intent, employment practices can still be considered illegal if they negatively affect a certain group of people. After this case, employees were provoked and encouraged to take action against discriminatory employment practices in their own companies. In fact, several cases such as Ward's Packing Company versus Antonio came as a result of Griggs v. Duke Power Company. Because of the Supreme Court's favorable ruling for Griggs, workplaces today have human resources departments that have strict standards for how they hire, promote, pay, and provide for their employees. Before the Griggs v. Duke Power case, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission had very little funds and accountability to follow through or to enforce fair employment practices. After playing a vital role in the Griggs v. Duke Power case, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission established itself as an invaluable reinforcement agent for equal employment practices. Since the Griggs v. Duke Power case, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission has reinforced federal laws that prohibit discrimination against an applicant or employee because of their race, color, religion, sex, age, or disability. While African Americans still have a higher unemployment rate than white individuals, and there is still a lot of work that needs to be done, the establishment and growth of the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission has provided protection and the enforcement of equality in the workplace to employees. The Griggs v. Duke Power Company case provoked more strict enforcement of the Title VII of the Civil Rights Act and highlighted the importance of protecting individuals in the workplace, especially minorities, while providing each individual an equal opportunity to succeed in the work environment.